Baseball.com/50 now through November 10th and put your Angels knowledge to the test. Answer all of the questions successfully and you will be entered to win a pair of tickets to a private Angels holiday party hosted at Disneyland. More Than a Night will provide Angel fans a unique opportunity to celebrate Angels baseball with a night at Disneyland, where the park will be closed to the public. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 years of age and older. No purchase is necessary to enter to win. For complete sweepstakes rules or to enter, visit angelsbaseball.com/50.
The following is a paid program. Opinions expressed are those of the program sponsors and not necessarily the views of AM 830, its owners, or management.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio on AM 830 KLAA. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Ron Siegel.
Southern California. Welcome to Ron Siegel's Real Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. Real Talk is a show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the most important hour of radio on AM 830, and thank you for joining us. With every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. That's my message, and I'll be delivering it every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. right here on AM 830 in association with ESPN KLAA. And I want to remind you that if you ever have any real estate-related questions, you can call me offline, and I'll personally assist you. It's not going to go through to an assistant or junior loan officer or something like that. I help personally. That's 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. And what a week. I guaranteed everybody a trifecta, and boy, did we ever get it. Tuesday, Election Day. Wednesday, the Fed meeting with quantitative easing, housing numbers. The jobs report on Friday. But before we get into that, please join me in welcoming Carol Lee from the Beach and Bay Group at Certere Properties. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know if you're as much of a sports nut as I am, but I always like to start the morning off with my sport recap, being that we are broadcasting live from Angel Stadium, and we're on KLAA 830 AM every day, and discuss a little football and my favorite football team, USC. What a game last night, winning 34-33. And I had a meeting about 2 weeks ago with a gentleman named Nate, and he used to be the kicker for UCLA. And I hate to ever promote something from UCLA because that's just a rivalry there. But maybe he needs to go over to USC and talk to them. They needed some help at that game. Kickers, I mean, I've listened to a couple of coaches, and they say they don't even know the names of the kicker. They just call him kicker. But boy, they were all, the total story yesterday was about kicking. USC missing and Arizona State missing. Whew. Kickers were the name of the game. And then I always tell people my second favorite team, anybody that's playing UCLA. Ow! UCLA won 17-14. And thank goodness we're finally into basketball season. We get to watch the Lakers. They're 6-0, going against the self-anointed champions for this coming season, Miami. But they've lost a couple times, so we better wonder if they're going to really have to play there. And then thinking about Southern California and Carol in studio. Carol is specializing out at the beach. I go down every Saturday and Sunday morning and walk around the islands at Balboa. Is it amazing, this weather in Southern California in November?
It is. Summer finally came.
Wow, November. I mean, we better not tell the rest of the country what's going on out here because they're going to all want to come out here.
They will.
I mean, I'm walking around shorts and a T-shirt on the 7th of November around Balboa Island, just loving life. Wow. And a real quick reminder of my goals of the show. 1, to build a housing market by teaching you the opportunities of this marketplace. 2, protect you, the big banks, the media, the salesmen. This is the place where you can get the information you need to make educated decisions. And it's amazing because I always listen about some of these messages that are coming out there from the salesmen. And I don't like the term salesman because that means somebody's got to sell. And generally when you're looking at salesmen, you've got a winner and a loser. And I don't like that terminology. I don't like that thought process. We're here as advisors. So when we talk about the salesman, we're not talking about that here. We're talking about giving people trusted advice. And I only bring in great professionals that I personally chat with before they come into the studio because I want to be able to give that personal attention, personal advice. I want you to get the advice that you need to make educated decisions. The third goal of our show, to enhance your lifestyle. We'll let the rest of the media sell negativity. We're in here to have fun and celebrate life in the great Southern California. And finally, I want you to all know this is your show. Now, I am the host, but I want this to be your show, so I want, if you have a question or something that you want to talk about or you want us to discuss, please send that to us. You can connect with me, Ron at realestateradio.com. Send me those questions. We'll either get it back to you or we'll bring in a great guest here in studio and we'll chat about it here. So again, let me remind you, if you ever have any real estate or finance related questions, you're looking to buy, sell, refinance your real estate, you've got credit report issues, debts, you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes to me first. And I want you to realize that it doesn't come into the studio. It comes right into me. So when I'm on air...
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
I can't answer your phone, so it's going to go right to my voicemail, and we will get back to you. I will get back to you personally. Again, while I do have a great team that works for me, when it comes to developing a financial plan, and I don't talk about selling you anything, when it's developing your financial plan or strategy, I work with you. Call me directly. If you don't have any needs right now, save my number. Call me later. 800-306-1990. Again, 800-306-1990. And I'd like to remind you, we've got all kinds of reports and topics we're going to be getting into today. We may not even get to everything because this was such a unbelievably crazy week this last week. I do put copies of the reports that I reference here on my Facebook page, or the radio's Facebook page, realestateradio.com. Or on the Facebook, that's facebook.com/Real Estate Radio with Ron. No spaces in there. Forget the space bar. So you can go there and grab any of the topics we talk about. And we did just come out with our monthly newsletter. We're talking about birds since we're in Thanksgiving time. So if you want a copy of our monthly newsletter, it's got some articles on there about will rates go lower? Will you or won't you be prepared for difficult times? Thinking outside the bird, I've got some very, very interesting holiday facts in there. And I don't know, Carol, maybe you don't know these things, but I'm gonna share them with you. Have any idea how many turkeys we went through last year?
No.
242 million turkeys.
Wow. That's surprising.
Cranberries. 735 million pounds of cranberries. And that's probably one of the few things that did go up in 2009. We used 689 million pounds in 2008. So all these things are on the website. If you want the newsletter, go ahead and you can just join our mailing list there or just send me an email. I'll get it off to you. Some great stuff on there. We're constantly getting some interesting things to talk about. And this week was no difference. I mean, we had Monday inflation numbers. Tuesday, unbelievable, those election reports. I don't know about if I can remember, maybe since President Reagan, when I saw election reports that were like that. And I think the president just called in.
So I know whose ass to kick.
I think he just found out the election results while he was on the plane heading overseas. I can understand why he went overseas. Quantitative easing. That's an interesting discussion in and of itself. Fed came out and said that they're going to buy $600 billion worth of bonds. Basically, that's just like printing money. They're saying about $75 billion a month. In addition to the $50 billion they've already been reinvesting from when they did this before. So what this is really going to do is this effectively is keeping interest rates low because they're keeping the demand for these bonds. Mortgage-backed securities control interest rates. They're keeping these bonds high because they're part of the demand cycle for them. So, well, I don't really agree with the quantitative easing, and I can actually share with you, I've got some articles here, one of them being from my professor, my teacher. As many of you know, I went to Chapman University and studied under the great Jim Doty and Essie Adibi. And in an article, the 3rd of November, the same day as this, I was on the Orange County Register. Essie actually came out with a fan saying he too has no strategy of this quantitative easing. The market will take care of those things for itself, folks. If we can get the government out of our way, you and I, as Americans, will solve these problems. We've always solved our problems in America. The government is great when it comes to military, and I'm a big supporter of our military men and women. We have an unbelievable debt of gratitude to them. But they're not great when it comes to business. I don't know how you can end up getting a bunch of very successful people, and when they put politician after their name, they forgot all those fundamentals of what made them so successful. And I don't care whether it's Republican or Democrat, they're equally bad. So let's get them out of the way. We already proved that this was a fact. If you'll look back earlier this year, and I think it was either April or May, the Fed was getting out of the purchases of their $1.25 trillion purchase of mortgage-backed securities. And all of the bigwigs, the pundits, all said, well, this is going to have a huge increase on interest rates. At that time, interest rates were at 5.5%, roughly. Today, according to Yahoo Finance, we're in the low 4s. I saw rate sheets this last week where 30-year interest rates could be in the mid to upper 3s. So the market's going to take care of these things on their own. So just be aware, the more we get the government involved, the longer this whole process is going to take. If we want to get back to our more stability, let's get the government out of the way, get the people in, and we're really going to be in much better shape. But we got a lot more to talk about along those areas. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with Ron Siegel, discussing your real estate current events in the financial markets. When we come back, Carol and I are going to be speaking about unknown treasures in our coastal communities. My conversation with James of Newport Beach, how we're restructuring his financing on his $3 million Newport beachfront home. And he's not going to have any payments for the next 31 years. I've got some year-end tax-saving tips and an update on mortgage regulations on those $1 million plus mortgages from Kiplinger. And we'll have more Thanksgiving fun facts. We're going to even get to a few emails that you've been sending us at therealestateradio.com. Remember to reach me at any time. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. RealEstateRadioWithRon.com. You can connect with us on Facebook as well. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few.
In the middle of our street, something tells you that you've got to in the middle of our father gets up late for work. Mother has to iron his shirt, then she sends the kids to school.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradiowithron.com for more info. That's realestateradiowithron.com.
Have you been to car dealers only to be disappointed by their small inventory? That's not the case at Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa. The Connell family has been serving the community for well over 40 years. Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa wants to buy your car or truck. That's right. Go to ConnellNissan.com to receive your estimated value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's CONNELL Nissan.com. Or better yet, take the 405 freeway, Harbor Boulevard exit, go south towards the beach about 1 mile to Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa.
Real Estate Radio is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Ron Siegel. The purpose of this show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in Southern California, Ron Siegel can help. Call Ron directly at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Take advantage of speaking with Ron anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Ron Siegel today and you'll be glad you did. 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or you can visit realestateradio.com for more info. Reverse mortgages are loans against the equity of a senior American's home. With a reverse mortgage, the homeowner can convert their home equity into cash. It also benefits homeowners in many other ways. With most types of the loans, the lender verifies your income and uses that figure to determine the amount you'll be able to pay. You don't have to satisfy the monthly repayments with a reverse mortgage. Homeowners over the age of 62 years may apply for a reverse mortgage, even without any income. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit realestateradio.com and click the free workshop button.
Are you using retirement money to pay bills? If you are, you're burning your future. You can eliminate debt and save your retirement through bankruptcy. I'm John Greifendorf, founder of Greifendorf Law Offices. We can help you. Call us today, 1-800-861-0786. That's 1-800-861-0786. Or find us on the web at Banco Law. That's BANCOLaw.com. We are a debt relief agency helping people file under the bankruptcy code.
Have you asked your employer what kind of home mortgage benefits your company offers? Cal Home Benefits has a complete range of home and mortgage benefits, which can save you $5,000 to $10,000 on your living expenses, and the benefit program is completely free to California businesses and groups. If your company or group is not offering home and mortgage benefits, please visit calhomebenefits.com or call 1-800-998-1990. That's 1-800-998-1990. It's free to the organization and can save you thousands. You're listening to Real Estate Radio with local expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Hello.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel on the Real Estate Radio Network. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. That's my message, and I'll be delivering it every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on KLAA AM 830 in association with ESPN. On today's expert panel, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, Carol Lee from the Beach and Bay Group at Certere Properties. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks for joining me. We've been talking about some interesting Thanksgiving facts. We've also been chatting about these new properties that are coming on the market. There's these hidden treasures. But before we get back into all that, I do have a little bit of a contest here, and I've got some restaurant gift certificates to give out. So I want to send out, I think I've got three gift certificates. So the first three people that can tell me three places in the U.S. named Turkey. So there's three different places in the U.S. named Turkey. Send me the first three people that send that to me, Ron at realestateradio.com, and we'll get those gift certificates to you. And send me your zip code with it at the same time, because that might help. So if I have a gift certificate in your area. So, as you're aware, Ron Siegel's Real Talk is not only designed to educate, but to entertain Southern California. And the best place to start is a real story of how we've helped someone. Please be sure that if you ever have any real estate questions, there's a number to call, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. And this segment is being brought to you by MyRateTrack.com. If you want to get personalized mortgage checkup at any time, just go to MyRateTrack.com. Enter your specific information, and the system will immediately generate an 8-page mortgage checkup. It's totally free when you enter my name, Ron, R-O-N, as the promo code. So here's the scenario. James has a beachfront property in Newport Beach, valued at about $3 million. James and his wife are both about 85 years old, and they owe about $320,000 on the property. Now, a few weeks ago, we had Chris George on the line, and he was telling us about a home ownership accelerator, which is a perfect product for this. So I'm telling Jim and his wife about this program. Berna is his wife. And it's a very interesting product. It's very, very specialized. So here's the scenario.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Truth of it is that At 85 years old, Jim and Berna have a little bit of credit card debt. They owe about $20,000 on their credit card. They owe about $320,000 on this house. And the house is valued at about $3 million. So we looked at this home ownership accelerator for him and the way we structured this, and he's going to be looking at interest in the mid-threes for the foreseeable future, but it does have a 6% cap on it, 6% increase cap. We're going to take out all of that debt. We're going to take out the credit card debt. And Jim and Berna are going to have some capacity to where they can use some of that equity out of their house. But the beauty is they're not going to have a payment for the next 31 years. 31 years. Now, that's incredible. Now, at 85, I did have to give some full disclosure to Jim that being that he's not going to have to make a payment on that for 31 years, I might be retired by then, if I'm lucky. And he might have to find somebody when he's 126 years old or 116 years old that can refinance this for him. So we do want to make sure we get that caveat in there. And this is an amazing scenario. And these are the type things when we talk about how we can, where it's all about structure, it's all about advice, it's all about sharing. That's the important thing about this, is looking at a plan. Now, what happens if Jim wanted to really do a full refi on that? And again, it goes based on qualifications, and I always say check your APR, check your truth in lending, and most importantly, get a total cost analysis from a loan professional, a mortgage professional. Difference between a mortgage professional and a loan officer. A mortgage professional is helping plan. They're going to tell you the cost of the program over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's not just about what's it going to cost to get you done today. And that goes back to when we were talking about the salesman before. We're not really looking for the salesman. We want to be advisors. So when we hear about the salesman, we have to go and find our trusty button here. No salesman. It's advice. If you need advice, call us, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, and we will put you in touch with some great professionals throughout Southern California and get you the advice that you need. And we're going to bring Carol in on some of these conversations here as well, because Carol's the expert in the Newport Beach and the beach areas. I'm looking at an article that came out this past week again, short sales. And we were talking just before we came on air, and you were telling me that the, what is it, 2 million to 2.5 range is the sweet spot in Newport?
And below.
Two and a half and below,
right.
Okay. And I'm looking at an article that came out for some short sales in Newport Beach. Looks like Newport Beach area. And this one happens to be a pretty interesting one. I guess probably the reason that this short sale came on the wires was because it was from actress Tawny Katane. And she used to be married to good old Angel pitcher Chuck Finley. But she sold 2 pieces of property in the Newport area. I guess Bell Court, is that Newport Beach?
Yes, it is.
Okay, she sold that one. She owed $2.6 million on it, sold it for $2.5. So that hits that sweet spot that Carol was just telling us about. And I guess that was a condo or something down there. So those are kind of interesting information. The other one, a Newport house built in 1983, went through major reconstruction. Doesn't say the pricing here, but that's another Newport property. So that's I guess the trend over there in Newport Beach. So we're looking at that. And that kind of really ties in with what Carol was saying. So knowing those sweet spots, that's important.
It is. And I think that right now, the $2.2 million and under is the hottest part of the market for sure. People are looking for deals, whether it's in Belcourt, which is very upscale, and there have been a number of great homes for sale in there this year, or other areas. I think I've heard in our office meetings, and our president, Gary LeGrand, is going to be on soon, and he'll have all the facts and figures on this. But about 25% of our sales this year have been short sales or in some type of foreclosure process.
Well, that's really interesting because we've been saying that on air for a long time now, that this is the best time to buy.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Big difference between price and cost. I always talk about that. The cost is how much it's going to cost on a monthly basis.
Right.
Price is a big number that most of us just don't understand. When I talk about a $600 billion purchase from the Fed, I don't know what $600 billion is. That's a big, big number.
Right.
Many people listening here are going to say, the $20 million homes down that you see in Newport and Corona Del Mar, and the $5 million, $3 million. Those are big numbers. What's it going to cost on a monthly basis? And we're just looking at that one property, that the $3 million, we can bring that down to numbers. And when you're talking about 3s and 4s and the interest rates, that's 60-year lows. And we're not going to know when the end of that pricing is until it's too late.
Well, I love what you've said to people about planning, because nothing could be more true for my clients and other clients at Certere. People really have to talk to a lender first so that they know exactly what they can spend. Sometimes people feel, well, I could spend this or I could spend that, but until you talk to a lender and really go through that process, you don't know. And it makes a big difference in terms of what you can buy. And right now, I feel it's like a candy store in Newport Beach. Prices are where we never dreamt they would be again. For a back unit in Corona Del Mar Village, under $1 million, I never thought I would see that again. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are so many good buys.
And if you want to hear about that property, just call me at the off-air number, 800-306-1990, and I'll put you in touch with Carol right away. She'll get that information to you and show it to you. It may not even be listed. It may be just something that she knows is there. So remember, those are the things that we're bringing you here. When you have a trusted advisor, that's what it's all about. That's amazing. So we're going to get more into these things with Carol in just a few minutes. There's more unknown treasures in Newport Beach. There's some year-end tax-saving tips that you need to know about. Mortgage regulations on those $1 million mortgages from Kiplinger. When we come back, we're going to have all that information for you. Remember to reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. RealEstateRadioWithRon.com, or connect with us on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/Real Estate Radio with Ron. Don't put any spaces in there. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few.
Brothers got today to keep, you can't hang around. Our house in the middle of our street, our house.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit RealEstateRadioWithRon.com for more info. That's RealEstateRadioWithRon.com.
Ron Siegel here from Real Estate Radio with attorneys Christine Wilton and John Greifendorf. John, when should people file for bankruptcy?
Ron, people should file for bankruptcy before they spend their money to pay bills they may never pay off. Money is not personal, it's business. Your family's money is your business, and your job is to preserve it. That's your commitment. Bankruptcy is a powerful tool that allows people to eliminate their debts, regain control, and get a fresh start. That's why our founding fathers included bankruptcy in the Constitution.
Christine, why should we use bankruptcy instead of debt settlement or other services to stop the nagging phone calls?
We stop the phone calls immediately. It works for everyone, every time, where debt settlement fails over 90% of the time. Through bankruptcy, we get your family the fresh start you deserve and the Constitution grants.
To get the fresh start your family deserves, call Christine or John at 800-861-0786. That's 800-861-0786, or on the web at bancolaw.com. That's BANCO law.com. Determining the truth about reverse mortgages is not easy. You need to be educated on the program so that you can make the best decision for your personal situation. Basically, if you get a reverse mortgage, you'll be getting a loan that will allow you to have a monthly income coming in, or a large lump sum at once, or a credit line. You can get any combination of these things as well. If you have an existing loan, it will be paid off, so you will not have a house payment. The monthly income you receive from the reverse mortgage is guaranteed, and you will receive it as long as you remain living in the home. Regardless of the length of your life, your debt can never be more than the worth of your home. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit RealEstateRadioWithRon.com and click the free workshop button.
Have you been to car dealers only to be disappointed by their small inventory? That's not the case at Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa. The Connell family has been serving the community for well over 40 years. Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa wants to buy your car or truck. That's right. Go to ConnellNissan.com to receive your estimated value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's CONNELL Nissan.com. Or better yet, take the 405 freeway, Harbor Boulevard exit, go south towards the beach about 1 mile to Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa.
Hi, we're here with Ron Siegel, the host of Real Estate Radio. Ron, welcome to the studio. Give us insight as to what your show is all about.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me that question. The reason we developed Real Estate Radio is right now there is an abundance of misinformation out there. So Real Estate Radio is a show designed to give Southern California a focal point for their real estate knowledge, as well as a place to go just in case they might need anything real estate related.
So how are you helping people?
That's actually pretty simple. People need advice. So it really doesn't matter who you are. If you have any real estate questions, we're here to help. Whether you're buying a home, selling, you're experiencing a loan modification, short sale, foreclosure, there are a lot of things going on in this marketplace.
How can people get a hold of you?
Real easy. All you have to do is call. The number is 1-800-306-1990. Press option 1.
Interesting times in the market right now. Where do you think the markets are going from here?
That's a great question. All I can say is this. The housing market came down one house at a time, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build it one house, one family at a time. So the best thing that anyone can do is access the free advice that we really want to give you. And to do that, you simply need to call me. The number is 1-800-306-1990. Option 1. I'd really love to help.
Father wears his Sunday best.
Your attitude about helping people.
The kids are playing up downstairs. Sisters saying.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel on the Real Estate Radio Network. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. That's my message, and I'll be delivering it every Sunday morning right here on KLAA AM 830 in association with ESPN. And we've got our featured guest this morning.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA, then everybody be serving like California.
Carol Lee from the Beach and Bay Group at Certere Properties. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Ron. What a great intro. I love that. The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. It's hard to interrupt that song, but we got to get back to a little bit of real estate, and we're still looking for that winner of that contest to tell us 3 places in the United States that have turkey in the name of it. 3 places in the U.S. that have turkey in the name of it. Just send me an email with the names. You get the correct answer. You get the gift certificate, restaurant certificate, if you're one of the first 3. Again, Ron at realestateradio.com, or you can put it on the Facebook page as well. And this segment is being brought to you by Connell Nissan. The guys are so friendly and reliable. I take all my cars to Mark at Connell Nissan or Clint at Connell Chevy when they need servicing. You can find them on the web at connellnissan.com or connellchevy.com. Tell them that Ron Siegel's Real Talk sent you. You'll be just as pleased with their service as I am. So let's talk to Carol a little bit. But before we do that, I'm actually looking at Carol's biography or resume from LinkedIn. This is really amazing. I don't know how you have time to do all this stuff. Realtor, Girls Inc. Guild Board, co-executive vice president, Fashionables member at my alma mater, Chapman University.
Yay.
Always got to put that plug in there.
Right.
Symphony 100 board member. Holy cow! You're a busy lady, and you work too.
I do.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And I see also that you've got all kinds of blog posts with some great information. I'm looking at one that I looked at while we were getting ready for the show that talks about the power of pocket listings. So first off, tell us what pocket listings are.
A pocket listing is a listing that as a buyer you can't see. So if you're a motivated buyer and you really have a need, you're moving here from someplace else for a job, or you really want to find something within a certain time frame and you want to pay a fair price, a pocket listing is just an indispensable tool that you can talk to your realtor about as a way to find out people who are on the market but not ready maybe to list in the MLS, have open houses in the holidays and things like that.
So basically, if I want to sell my house, I would call you and say, Carol, I'm thinking about selling. I'm thinking about this kind of price. You're going to give me the advice on pricing.
Right.
But I'm really not sure if I want to. And then, one of our 7 listeners might call.
Right.
and we put them in touch with you. They call our off-air number, 800-306-1990.
Right.
And I put them in touch with you because you've got this information that's not public.
Right.
And you can put one of our 7 listeners in touch with the homeowner through your services, because you know that home on Bayfront is available.
Right.
And put the two together.
Well, the process is really just like buying or selling any other house. I'd say the 2 things to remember about pocket listings are, from a buyer's perspective, they're highly motivated. So it's a buyer who really wants to buy something in a certain area at a certain price. They have all this planned out and they know, and they're highly motivated to do something right now. It's not a way to necessarily get a bargain. From a seller's perspective, they have almost the opposite. They have lower motivation, but they might want to sell after the holidays, let's say, but they're willing to sell.
So basically, they're making the buyer's really controlling the fact. They're making they're creating the demand.
Exactly.
So the seller might see
More money, more money, more money.
So that's really the way that's a pretty interesting concept.
That's exactly right. And here's the other thing. I always like to tell people in the consulting world that you're talking about that you really want to have representation. So even if somebody called your number and wanted a pocket listing that I might have or that I might know about, if it's mine, I would recommend that they have their own representation, because you need that balance in any real estate transaction, because there's a conflict of interest. If I'm representing a seller, my whole purpose is getting the most money for them. If I'm representing the buyer, I have the exact opposite goal, which is to get that property for the lowest possible, obviously fair price.
Sure.
But when you're representing both sides, it's too difficult for so many reasons. So if somebody is interested in pocket listings in Newport or anywhere else, what I would say that they might look for is an agent who's knowledgeable in the area and knows different neighbors, and a team. So I'm part of a team of 250 agents at Certier.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And all of us have friends and past clients in neighborhoods, so we all know about this huge bubble of inventory that no one sees yet. It's
cool.
Off the market.
So basically, when you're dealing with this big group, Certier Properties,
right?
There's 250 agents there with inside information, which is pretty cool when you can deal legally with inside information.
Exactly, right.
You know, and that's really gets back to what we've been talking about right from the very beginning. And I love it, the fact that you bring out the issue that it could be a conflict of interest when we've got one agent representing both sides of the transaction. So when we're in here, we've got one goal in mind.
Look, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. Trust me.
We want to give you the trust. We want you to be confident that you're going to get great information. So it really speaks a lot to someone's integrity when we know that an agent makes their money in sales and in commissions. Okay, they work very, very hard for their money, folks.
That's true.
But basically, what Carol's saying is, and she would really earn double the money if she represents the buyer and the seller. But Carol's actually sharing with you that it's in her best interest, or she feels it's in her client's best interest, not to work that way. And that's really what the beauty of it is. And that goes back to the very beginning of the show. We were talking about the difference between a trusted advisor and a salesman. And that's the beauty of what we're bringing to you on the Real Estate Radio Network all over this country. Now, this show, the Real Estate Radio Network, actually started in San Diego with a friend of mine. And we are now in 40 markets across the country sharing this same message. And our message is real simple. The housing market in the U.S. went down one house, one family at a time. The housing market in the U.S. is going to be rebuilt one house, one family at a time. And we want to deliver great information to one family. So it's you that we're talking to right now. And we want you to know that whenever you have a question about your real estate needs, and again, it's anything. I was told by one of the credit folks recently that I work with, 80% of the people in the United States have an error on their credit report. 80%. And I'm not saying 80% of the people with good credit or 80% of the people with bad credit. 80% of the individuals in the United States have an error on their credit report. Now, I'm not going to get real political on this, but the bottom line is it's in the credit bureau's best interest to have errors on there. So they're really not looking to protect you. We are. The credit bureaus are selling your information to people all the time for debt collection, for all these different marketing things that come out. So they sell that information. So if you're legitimately a 720 score and your credit report says 680, and some guy says, I want everybody who's got a 680 or worse, they're just made money off of that. The credit bureaus just made money off of that. So you need to really understand that that's where that comes from. So get great information. And I know it sounds a little counterintuitive.
It's ridiculous.
But it is ridiculous. It shouldn't be the way, but that is the way. So let's get back to talking to Carol about some of her other postings here. An open house concierge service. Tell me about that a little bit.
The Beach and Bay Group created the open house concierge service for anybody who's visiting Newport Beach. Of course, this idea could expand to other areas, but because
when it's 80 degrees in November.
Exactly. We have a lot of people that attend open houses in Newport Beach. I know I've seen that not all agents feel open houses are a great way to sell. In Newport Beach, they're phenomenal because there's so many visitors. A lot of people stop by to see.
I'd love to go just to see some of the properties because there's some pretty magnificent properties out there.
There are.
And I know my wife loves it when we go looking at open houses just because she gets ideas as well. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we do see some, when I visit agents at open houses, sometimes we do see the neighbors that come in and they just want to see what Joe and Betty have done to their house, but that's kind of a different scenario.
Well, definitely. I mean, open houses are one thing, but here's what happens. People said, oh, I didn't know you were open, even though we may have an ad in the paper or whatever. So I see people randomly kind of wandering from house to house. Let's say you're in town and you really would like to see what's on the market. Open house concierge, if you call us, we will put together an open house tour for you for houses that are the style you want, the price point you want, and make sure that someone is there to open it for you, even if it's not on open house tour. That way, you're using your time strategically instead of just wandering from place to place, which is a good strategy to find out decorating ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people do buy a house from an open house, and they have limited time. So it helps people who are just getting interested in the market find out exactly where the homes are that they can afford and that they might like.
Well, that's awesome. So that's a lot of fun. So that way you're doing a lot of the work ahead of time. They can go and see the properties that they want to see. Awesome. We're going to continue with our conversation with Carol and talk about some of these unknown treasures. Again, those mortgage regulations that have changed on the $1 million properties, according to Kiplinger. Remember to reach me anytime or to have me put you in touch with a great agent like Carol Lee. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Connect with us at realestateradio.com or facebook.com/Real Estate Radio with Ron. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few.
Mother's tired, she needs a rest. The kids are playing up downstairs. Sister's sighing in her sleep. Brother's got a date to keep, he can't hang around. Our house in the middle of our street.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.com for more info. That's realestateradio.com.
Reverse mortgages are loans against the equity of a senior American's home. With a reverse mortgage, the homeowner can convert their home equity into cash. It also benefits homeowners in many other ways. With most types of loans, the lender verifies your income and uses that income to determine the amount you'll be able to pay. You don't have to satisfy the monthly repayments with a reverse mortgage. Homeowners over the age of 62 years may apply for a reverse mortgage even without any income. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit realestateradio.com and click the free workshop button.
Have you asked your employer what kind of home mortgage benefits your company offers? Cal Home Benefits has a complete range of home and mortgage benefits, which can save you $5,000 to $10,000 on your living expenses, and the benefit program is completely free to California businesses and groups. If your company or group is not offering home and mortgage benefits, please visit calhomebenefits.com or call 1-800-998-1990. That's 1-800-998-1990. It's free to the organization and can save you thousands. Real Estate Radio is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Ron Siegel. The purpose of this show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in Southern California, Ron Siegel can help. Call Ron directly at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Take advantage of speaking with Ron anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Ron Siegel today and you'll be glad you did. 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or you can visit realestatewithron.com for more info.
This is Mark Renaro, GM of Connell Nissan Costa Mesa, with some great news. We've just reduced the price of our new and pre-owned inventory. The reduced price is clearly posted on the vehicle and our website, connellnissan.com. Get the very best value on your next purchase without the car guy haggle. This includes those hard-to-find Altimas, Maximas, Murano, Rogue, and even the GTR. We're conveniently located just 1 mile south of the 405 on Harbor Boulevard. Visit us at connellnissan.com. Connell Nissan, family-owned, 46 years, is the #1 GTR dealer in the USA.
Are you a homeowner facing foreclosure? Do you need a plan to save your home? My name is Christine Wilton. I'm co-founder of the Greifendorf Law Offices. Bankruptcy has a plan that puts you in control. Call us today at 1-800-861-0786. That's 1-800-861-0786. Or on the web at bancolaw.com. That's BANCO law.com. We're a debt relief agency helping people file under the bankruptcy code.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio with local expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel. In our remaining few minutes with you, we want to really get some great information. I'm looking at an article here in the Orange County Register, and it's about the unbelievable. It's the one of my teams I really don't like to watch. It's UCLA.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Talking about the predictions for what's coming up for the next year or so in the real estate market. And we talked about this a little last week. UCLA predicting Orange County real estate will rise 49% over the next 6 years. And the California Association of Realtors chief economist prediction that's a little bit bullish. And Cal State University of Fullerton's predictions of about, what does it say, in 2010, no more than 2 to 3%. They were off a little bit. UCLA said 16% in 2010. I think they were a little excited. I don't know what they were doing over there, but I have a feeling that they might have been going a little crazy at one of those parties.
Okay.
Could have been what they were doing when they came out with those predictions, but December 6th, that's the day that I will know the answer to all these questions, because that's when Chapman University, when I was there, Chapman College has their economic forecast, and we know that they can get it right. So the crystal ball's coming out from Chapman on December 6th, and that'll be the big day that we want to talk about. Does Sir Tier have a crystal ball?
No, we don't have a crystal ball.
So Sir Tier doesn't have a crystal ball, so what we're going to really think about is, does it really matter?
Exactly.
The point is, when we talk about what the property is going to do, If you're looking to flip property, it's probably important. If you're looking for a home, someplace you can hang your hat.
That's right.
Does it really matter what the property is going to do next year or the year after?
It really doesn't. And I don't want our listeners to be the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Exactly.
Of the next 4 to 6 years that UCLA is talking about. Gary LeGrand, the president of Certere, every week puts out 2 different emails. One is glass half full, which is things in the news that are positive about real estate, glass half empty, which are things that are negative that come out. And
we don't bring the negative stuff here.
No way. And you know what? The prices, again, right now are so low in Newport Beach. And I see huge pent-up demand of buyers that have been waiting for the bottom. And I actually see prices having risen in some parts of Newport Coast. And so people that want a particular property, a 4-bedroom with a pool, with a view, under $3 million, and there's like one on the market in all of Newport Coast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One. I guess so that means supply and demand curve. That would really have fun with the supply and demand curve.
Yeah.
And you know something? Kind of interesting that you say that, because I was listening to a streaming broadcast yesterday from a mentor, great educator of the real estate industry, Steve Harney. And he was speaking at the National Association of Realtors convention yesterday morning. It's in New Orleans, going on right now. And the people that are looking in the million up price range for second homes, in 2009, that number was like 2%. Right now, the National Association of Realtors, the prediction, I think he gets his information from DataQuick, that's 11%. So 5.5% people looking for second homes in the million up range.
I believe it.
Now, his comment actually came on the heels of about a month ago. John Paulson, hedge fund manager extraordinaire, in I think 2007, if you're not familiar with John Paulson, he actually said, in 2007, John Paulson made about $4 billion, that B with a B, billion with a B, easy for me to say. He made about $4 billion for his hedge fund betting against the mortgage market. So he saw ahead of time that what was going to happen. Paulson's comment about a month ago is, if you don't own a piece of property, buy one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right.
If you own one, buy a second. And if you own 2, buy a third and lend some money to your family members so they can buy as well. So you're seeing the same things, Carol.
Yeah. The low is right now. The number of properties, and just to give you an example, a house that may have been $1.5 million in Newport Coast, a 3 or 4 bedroom, home is now $900,000 or $1 million. Or on the beach, I remember a lot of people coming from Arizona or outside California. They'd love to be on the sand in Newport Beach, and we would have to say there is nothing on the sand under $5 million. And now, just like you were talking about, your client has a property on the sand in Newport Beach at $3 million. So,
is that the one you were telling me about earlier? Tell me about this property. I love it. In Lido
on
Island.
Lido, yes. I've got a great listing. It's a beautiful 2-year-old Cape Cod. It's stunning.
2 years old. Wow. So someone built right at the height.
They did.
Wow. Okay.
They did. And it's just, what?
2 million. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's 2.95. And it's a 4-bedroom. Each has its own bath. The kitchen and great room area are just incredible. So it's a Certere Best Buy. It's a great house for $2.95 million.
If you want information on this property, again, a 2-year-old property, and I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing if they built this 2 years ago, it was probably worth more 5 years ago than it is today. But I mean, it's a new, the prop for the dirt. Because they're not making any more dirt down there on Lido. I don't think they're making dirt. They put in a new property a couple of years ago, but they didn't make more dirt. So call our 800 number, 800-306-1990, and I'll put you in touch with Carol so we can get that property to you. That's a steal.
It's beautiful. It's for a perfectionist. The house is absolutely perfect. Yes.
So you don't need to go to the Hyatt Regency down there or to the. You can go right to your own property. Well,
that's right.
That's a great information. I love this information. The time just flies by here. Great show today. Thank you to our featured guest, Carol Lee from the Beach and Bay Group at Certere Properties. Thank you to all of our sponsors. And of course, a special thanks to our 7 listeners. I think I've still got one of those restaurant certificates left. Thank you very much to everybody involved with this show. That's all for Ron Siegel's Real Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. Again, if you have any questions, call me. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. RealEstateRadioWithRon.com. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Real Estate Radio with Ron. No spaces in there. Stay tuned for the Men's Dugout with Tara Grace. Have a great week, SoCal. See you next week right here on AM 830. And remember, if you aim for nothing, you will achieve nothing. Have a great week, SoCal.
Saying in her sleep, brother's got a date to keep, you can't hang around.